Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into a really cool shift happening in finance. We're talking about new tech that's basically taking these super complex investment strategies and making them simple enough for pretty much anyone to use.
I mean, what if investing could be totally automated, global, and completely transparent? That's the big question, right? It's what's pushing this new wave of financial tech. The whole promise is to strip away the complexity. So, okay, let's break down the core ideas that make this whole thing tick.
All right, first thing you got to know is DeFi, or decentralized finance. Just picture a financial world with no banks in the middle. Seriously. Instead, it all runs on a super secure public record, a blockchain. You've probably heard of Ethereum. And everything, everything, is run by these automated programs called smart contracts. Think of them like digital vending machines for money stuff. Lending, trading, you name it.
Okay, next piece of the puzzle, real-world assets, or RWAs. This is awesome. It's the bridge between the digital world and, the real world. So imagine you take something physical, like a building, and you create a digital token that represents a little piece of it. That token can then be bought and sold on the blockchain. All of a sudden, it's way easier to invest in stuff that used to be totally out of reach for most of us.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, the big picture. Then we'll see how automation is shaking things up. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how these platforms actually work. And for that, we're going to use a platform called TraderSensei as our example.
All right, let's get into it. So what happens when you smash these two huge ideas together? You've got DeFi on one side and real-world assets on the other. This is where it gets really interesting.
The whole point here is pretty simple, actually. It's about tearing down the walls of old-school finance. The goal of this tech is to unlock those investment opportunities that, for a long time, were basically reserved for giant firms and the super rich. It's about opening the doors for everybody.
But that brings up a huge question, doesn't it? How can a normal person, someone like you or me, actually use this stuff without being a finance genius or coding wizard? Well, the answer is one word: automation. So what we're seeing now is the rise of these, intelligent platforms. You can think of them as your personal investment co-pilot. They do all the hard work for you. They analyze the opportunities, manage your assets, and run these complicated strategies automatically. It's pretty amazing. And just look at the difference here. The old way, doing DeFi yourself, it was a mess. You had to juggle a bunch of different platforms, deal with crazy high fees, and there was a ton of technical risk. The new way? It boils all that down into one simple, secure app. You get pre-built strategies, and it's just so much easier to use.
Okay, so let's pop the hood on a platform like TraderSensei. How does it actually work? Let's see how it takes all these big ideas and turns them into a tool you can actually use.
Basically, at the heart of it, the platform sorts different investment opportunities into these buckets they call vaults. And each vault has its own specific goal and risk level.
So you get a bunch of different options depending on what you're trying to do. You've got your stablecoin vaults for safer, steady returns. Then there are the RWA vaults if you want to diversify into real assets. And they even have specialized stuff like Halal vaults for ethical investing. And the best part, it's all managed for you, automatically.
And getting started is designed to be super simple. It's really just 3 steps. First, you get some stablecoins. Those are cryptos tied to something stable like the US dollar. Second, you connect your digital wallet. And third, you just deposit your stablecoins into one of those vaults, and that's it. You start earning.
Now, behind that simple screen, the platform is plugging into all the big, trusted players in the DeFi space. They're like the engines that make this whole thing run. For instance, it's using Aave for lending, Uniswap for trading. All these established protocols are working in the background to generate those returns for you.
And this is where the real magic comes in. It's the power of compounding. Because the system automatically reinvests what you earn, it can take those small, steady returns and over time, build them into something really significant.
So to put some real numbers on it, the source material shows an example. Say you start with $10,000. In about 3 years, that could grow to over $11,000. And that's just from this automated, disciplined process. We're not talking about crazy speculative bets here. This is all about steady, consistent growth.
Okay, but now this is where things get really wild. Some of these platforms aren't just letting you invest in things. They're actually giving you the tools to create your own investment products. Yeah, you heard that right. The whole concept is to shift you from just being a passive investor to becoming an active manager. The platform gives you the foundation, the infrastructure, to basically launch your own little digital investment fund.
It's a huge shift in power.
I mean, just think about what that means. You could create your own custom vaults, you could set your own fees, you could even invite your friends or other people to invest in your fund. And because it's all on the blockchain, everything is totally transparent and managed automatically.
And hey, this isn't just some far-off idea. It's happening right now. You can see from this example that actual financial advisors are using this exact model. They're building these automated private funds for their clients. It's a whole new way for them to grow their business.
All right, so let's pull back for a second and look at the big picture again. What does all this mean for the future? What are the real long-term implications here?
So what's the bottom line? When you boil it all down, it's about two things: making things way simpler and opening up access. These platforms pull all these complicated financial tools into one spot. They let you customize things however you want, and they've built an infrastructure that works just as well for one person as it does for a giant company.
And so that leaves us with one last really big question to chew on. Is this where personal finance is headed? I mean, taking all this mind-boggling complexity and wrapping it up in a simple, automated package? Is that the future of how we're all going to manage and grow our money? We don't know for sure, but man, it is one powerful vision of what could be.